Hey friends, Dr. Motley here of drmotley.com, and I wanted to ask you, have you ever hit a roadblock in your emotional healing? Have you ever got to a plateau and felt like I'm not progressing? And many times I see patients when they come in and they hit the emotional roadblock. In the past post, I've been talking about EMDR and Brainspotting because they're good techniques that allow us to find those hidden traumas, bring them to the surface, and allow us to breathe through them and do certain exercises, certain motions of the eyes that actually can release the neurological pressure of the trauma. Now, when you hit a roadblock, I talked with a good friend of mine, Dr. Melissa Winrick, and we're going to post a slide up or swipe up to the full interview over on YouTube because it was such a good interview. I didn't want to cut it up, but we talk about, or she talks about, how if you hit a roadblock with EMDR or Brainspotting, that it could show hidden emotional traumas that have been stored in the functionality of your brain. Here's how it happens. When you have a trauma, or if you have an injury or an emotional event that is so traumatic to your conscious mind, what your body will do is store it away or put hardwire in your brain in another location of the brain to keep you from constantly thinking about it. So that way you're not always chronically thinking about the event. It's a protective mechanism. You go into fight or flight from the initial trauma. Your body goes, this is too much for me, and if I let it keep going, I'll get overwhelmed. So let's push it away. Let's forget about it, even though that memory is still draining energy from me. So what that does is it actually hinders the emotional processing because it's still an emotion, it's still a trauma. So that hardwire is laid in the midbrain. And so many times when a person's going through EMDR, if they're going through brain spotting, they'll get to a point they go, I'm not progressing, there's something still there. Why is it that I can get a trigger and it puts me into fight or flight, sweaty palms, heart racing, weird breathing? Why is this making me go into this state, even though I have been working on it? And then you feel defeated. Well, Dr. Melissa had texted me, had messaged me about what could be going on, and I was like, oh, gold, that's why I want you to watch the video. So she's great at Nashville Brain and Body. You got to check her out. Follow her. She's great info. Well, if you are in fight or flight, what she says is that you're not coming into your body. You could be in your left brain. You could be legitimizing, making logical sense of your life, but you're not actually feeling what you need to feel. And so what happens is that area of your life where you're not feeling means that you're not processing those hidden traumas. So she goes in and checks the functional aspect of the brain. Functionality of the brain means if you cannot even turn your head, the coordination, the movement, the eye movements of your eyes, the way you actually coordinate your limbs can be an indication of trauma that's stored in the brain. So if you store trauma, you lay the hardwire down, and if you overwhelm this unprocessed emotion, it could actually put pressure on the functional centers of your brain. Does that make sense? You're growing this trauma and it affects your function. So if you get a roadblock, she can go in, check you, examine you, see what movements are hindered. And if fight or flight is stored affecting the function and you restore and clear the roadblocks that allow functionality, the movement to come back, the eye movement to be restored, you release all those small blocks that then will allow you to process your emotions even more. Because your body has used that storage, those blocks, as a protective mechanism. It didn't do anything wrong, it was trying to save you. But now you can get rid of the roadblocks. They seem like simple exercises, she talks about it on the video, to help release those blocks, but the complicated information behind it is something that is to be very excited about. It makes me get nerded out. So guys, if you hit a roadblock, this is for you and me, and you can't get past an emotional problem or trauma in your life, check out like chiropractic neurology or anybody that does functional neurology. Check any healthcare professional that does it. And if you restore function, arm movement, eye movement, if you restore those things, you'll uncover more hidden traumas in your body. If you go back to EMDR and more brain spotting, you'll be surprised how much you can release, relieve, and get healthy. Guys, I hope this was a good post. Remember, the roadblocks aren't the end. Find a good functional neurologist. Find somebody that can work in that arena. Check out Dr. Melissa Winrick. Guys, I hope you have a great day. Talk soon.